Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. The title of this study is Income Disparity and Rising Cost of Living. The abstract. The rising cost of living is happening not only in Malaysia but also occurs globally. The amount of money needed by household is insufficient to cover basic expenses like housing and food. Higher income earners suffer from the shortage of their wealth due to higher living costs, let alone the family below poverty. Thus, the objective of this study was to examine factors that contribute to the mismatch between salary increment and the rising cost of living. This study used cross-sectional research in analyzing the data. To find the result of the research questions, a survey has been carried out using a Likert scale questionnaire. Descriptive, ANOVA, and multiple regression data analysis were performed utilizing SPSS software. The finding reveals that the inflation rate, housing prices, and income significantly contribute to the mismatch between salary increment and the rising cost of living. It is therefore recommended that future studies should explore the solutions according to these findings. The introductions. The rising cost of living is a global phenomenon. For instance, Singapore is the country listed as having the highest cost of living in the world. 5 out of the 10 highest living cost cities were predominantly conquered by Asia. Economists believe the main root cause of housing and good prices influence the cost of living, thus creating economic instability and wide gap between higher and lower income earners. Malaysia experiences exact problem like many other countries. The issue here occurred redundantly, apart from the recent historical shift in government and political reforms, but it remains unresolved and worsened by the hike of property prices, slower growth in income, and a weak of ringgit. According to the Department of Statistics Malaysia, in its Salaries and Wages Report 2016, the median monthly salaries and wages of paid employees increased 6.2% from 1,600 in the previous year to 1,703 ringgit. However, Standard Chartered Global Research observed otherwise. It states that the real wage growth was slightly negative during the first half of 2017. The fact that property prices like housing spiked in the past 10 years, as much as everyone acknowledges possessing a home for shelter and comfort is the ultimate goal for most families out there, it is also considered a personal success. However, the hike in Malaysia property prices influenced potential consumers in acquiring a house, simply because of the economic fundamentals where price and demand are inversely proportional. Based on Malaysia House Price Index, housing prices have increased by 9.1% from the first quarter of 2010 until the second quarter of 2012. Consequently, the cost of basic necessities like living places and transportation in Malaysia also escalates. The rising cost of living greatly impacts and varies according to the level of income. Research from Bank Negara Malaysia found out that lower income earners are the ones most exposed to this issue and at risk. Bank Negara Malaysia also explains that higher income earners spend only 25 cents for every ringgit of their earnings. On the other hand, the B40 group's expense is 80 cents in every addition of 1 ringgit of their earnings. It is clearly implements that the former household incomes is higher than their monthly expenditure, and the latter earnings are equivalent to their expenses. The objective of this research is to identify factors that contribute to a mismatch between the cost of living and salary increment. Thus, the research questions is what factors contribute to the mismatch between salary increment and rising cost of living. Despite the main factors mentioned numerous times by previous researchers, the authors presume many other contributing determinants lead to the problem. For example, is the cost of living increasing or the growth of income diminishing? Are there any significant changes in spending pattern over the little income increments? Those are the concerns that we must put in place. The research methodology. This study has utilized a cross-sectional method in collecting and analyzing the data. To find the result of the research questions, a survey has been carried out using a Likert scale questionnaire. The respondents involved also come from various income levels and were dominated by the 5,000 ringgit to 10,000 ringgit group of earnings. This will give a clear insights on the salary speculations whether 5,000 ringgits is worth earning or otherwise. The collected data then were labeled into numbers and transferred to SPSS for the analysis. And the findings. The first findings here. The R-square value indicates how much of the total variation in the dependent variable, the mismatch, which can be explained by the independent variable of income, housing price, and inflation rate. In this case, 59% can be explained of these independent variables, which is very large. And besides that, the estimated regressions equations from the outcome of the study is indicated as y is equivalent to 0.383 plus 0.262 plus 0.226, which the coefficients of independent variables x1, which is income, x2, housing price, and x3, the inflation rate, are significant because the p is less than 0.05. The relative importance of independent variables is the most important variable, which its standardized coefficients of 0.38, which is income, followed by inflation rate 0.262 and housing price 0.226 respectively. In summary, this research was conducted mainly to show and prove the inflation rate, housing price, and slow growth of income have influenced this disparity of income and the rising cost of living in Malaysia. All three hypotheses are supported in the study. This indicates that the economic structure of the country requires immediate reforms to ensure the well-being of the people is protected, such as by reducing the inflation rate, by reducing the housing price, and to increase the growth of income that could resolve the problem in the near future, inshallah. Thank you very much.